The night the power went out on Maple Street, the darkness swallowed everything, except for one light. One single, buzzing, flickering light at the end of the block. The porch light of 117 Maple Street. No one had lived there for years, not since the Maxwell family disappeared. No moving trucks, no goodbye notes, no bodies ever found. The house had rotted in silence, windows boarded from the inside. But now that porch light was burning, and it wouldn't go out. The first night we just thought it was weird. Maybe some automatic timer, a leftover system the city forgot about. Nobody dared get too close. The second night, strange things started. The air smelled wrong, like burnt hair and wet copper. The dogs on the street, usually loud, went silent, huddled under porches, trembling. Every house was dark, street lamps dead. Only that porch light buzzed, golden and alive, calling. On the third night, little Tommy Meyer vanished. He'd been dared by the older boys to touch the steps of 117 Maple. Just touch them, not even go inside. His mother found him 6 hours later, wandering barefoot in the street, his pajamas shredded with mud. When asked what happened, he only repeated one thing. The man in the light said it's warm. He said stay. He hasn't spoken since. By the end of the week, more kids were missing, and a few of the older folks, Mr. Dalka from 2B, Mrs. Green from the corner house, they started sleepwalking, always toward the house, always stopping just short of the porch steps, mouths hanging open, eyes rolled white, mumbling, "It's cold outside. Come inside." The sheriff came, put up yellow tape, tried to enter. He got 2 feet past the gate before vomiting uncontrollably. Said the world twisted when he crossed the threshold. He saw something inside the house, something moving behind the boards. The city sent an electrician, a big guy named Carlos. No nonsense. He climbed the porch, snipped the wire to the porch light. The light dimmed. We all cheered. 5 minutes later, Carlos's truck turned itself on, drove full speed into a ditch. They found him 2 miles away, still walking south, barefoot, covered in scratches, muttering, "The light never needed wires." After that, no one touched the house. No one even spoke about it in the daytime. At night, though, we all stared. We couldn't help it. The light grew brighter every evening, and we started seeing faces in the windows behind the boards, pressing, smiling, mouths moving like they were screaming, but no sound coming out. Their eyes burned with yellow light. On the 9th night, the fog rolled in, thick, choking. It only covered the end of the street where the house sat. Every other house stayed clear. The fog wrapped around the porch light like cotton around a flame. I told myself, this isn't real. I should leave, drive somewhere, anywhere. But the street had changed. It bent. Every path I tried led back to the house. The world shrunk. There were only 2 choices now, the darkness behind me or the light ahead. At 2:14 a.m., the phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. I answered. A voice like dry leaves rasped, "It's cold outside." Click. I looked out the window. The porch light was pulsing now, like a heartbeat, and standing at the edge of the steps was a figure. Not tall, not short, blurred by the fog, waiting. I stayed away from the windows after that. The 11th night, my neighbor, old Mr. Keller, cracked. He walked out in his slippers, didn't even close the door behind him. He stepped onto the porch, paused, and then he smiled, wide, too wide, and he walked straight through the front door without using his hands. Just melted through it. Gone. The light burned even brighter after that, like it had been fed. On the 12th night, I heard footsteps outside, software, barefoot, pacing up and down the sidewalk, stopping by my mailbox, stopping under my window. I heard whispering, "You're cold, come be warm." I shoved a dresser against the door, pulled the curtains tight, sat on the floor with a kitchen knife, and cried. The 13th night was the worst. The entire street changed, no houses, no trees, only the road stretching forever into the darkness. And the house, closer now, closer every time I blinked. And in the light, figures, hundreds of them, some faces I knew, some I didn't, all bathed in golden glow, all smiling, all waiting. At midnight, the door opened. No hands, just a breath of wind curling outward, beckoning, a chorus of whispers. Come inside. It's warm inside. It's waiting inside. I didn't want to go, I swear, but my feet moved anyway, down the steps, across the street, onto the porch. The boards moaned under my weight. The golden light poured over me, and for the first time in weeks, I felt warm, safe, home. The last thing I remember before stepping inside was the feeling of dozens of hands brushing my skin, welcoming, binding.